Facebook.
Well, good morning and welcome to Brekkie with the Guy Who Sews. Today is Saturday, the 30th of September. Just check the calendar just to make sure I'm right. And I have my good friend who I haven't had on in a while, and I'm excited to have her back. It's none other than Fallon from Sew Be It Quilts. A lot of you guys know her, but if you don't, definitely go out and check out her channel. You can put !Fallon or !guest. Either one will work. It'll point you over to her direction. But let's just, if you want to say good morning to everybody, Fallon, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, just in case someone hasn't checked out your channel yet.
Good morning, everyone. So my name's Fallon. I have the channel Sew Be It Quilts. And on my channel, you'll find a lot of quilting tutorials. I still do some unboxings, but I'm not as unboxing heavy as I used to be. Right now, I'm focusing mainly on quilt tutorials, and a lot of them right now have revolved around my own patterns that I've come up with for pre-cuts, like charm packs and layer cakes. And I just give a fun way to twist it a little so that the quilt comes together fast for you, but also looks, a little interesting or a little more complicated. So that is me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And I love the direction that your channel has taken. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, that you are probably one of the, I think it was like you and Becca and Stephanie Stitches were the first channels that I found on YouTube. And I just love it that, you're willing to come on and hang out with me for a little while, because you're kind of like that person that I saw at the very, very beginning. And I just love seeing the growth in your channel, because you're close to 20,000 subscribers or past it. I can't remember, because you and Chris are very close.
I just passed it a little bit ago. I think I'm at 23,000 now. I definitely got a big boost from one of my last videos. I mean, sometimes you'll see that happen if you are a creator, where you'll have the video that just really takes off, and then your subscriber count just whoop, and then it'll slow and get back to normal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And really, at the end of the day, I think for a lot of us, as long as the viewers are enjoying the video,
Right.
the subscriber counts and the view counts and that are absolutely wonderful. Like, I'd love to see one of mine hit, 5K or 10K or something like that. But if I get 200 views and everybody enjoys it, my job's done. Like, I'm here because I enjoy it, and that sort of thing there. But yeah, it's always fun to see that little bit of success as well. And I just love seeing your channel grow, because you just do some wonderful work. And I love seeing the different quilt patterns that you come up with and that sort of thing there. I haven't had a chance to make many of them, but I have made one or two of them in the past, and it's been a lot of fun.
I remember you made the rocking block one. That one was fun to see in the colors you chose.
Yeah, the rocking block was one. And then I also did your snowball. I started the snowball of a twist. I still had to finish that. It was supposed to be a Christmas gift for a friend of Amanda's last year. It's needs to be finished. Hopefully we'll get it to her for Christmas this year, but I make no promises. But let's just take a quick look and see who is joining us this morning. It looks like we have a nice little crowd here already. Looks like my friend Pam from the Empty Nest Crafter is here with us. Donnell from Donnell Stitchery is here. She's also a new content creator, so definitely check her channel out if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure if you put in !Donnell, it should pop up with hers. Sweet Granny is here. She says, good morning, everyone. Just listening today. Clean a few rooms and whistle while work. Let's see. Sweet Granny, we already see. Gloria Carlson. She says, good morning, Saturday morning from King William, Virginia. I actually get to go out and hang out with her next week for a couple of hours. So that's going to be really, really fun. The quilting compound is here with us this morning. I can't remember her name now. I'm terrible.
I'm horrible at names. I'm just adding to
Jamie. I think it's Jamie. I'm going to go with Jamie. And if I'm wrong, she can correct me on that. Joyce is here with us this morning as well. Stephen from Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter is with us, and you'll be able to see him and I in action tomorrow in a little project that we're doing. I'm not going to give away any more details right now, but just keep an eye out on our channels tomorrow morning for a fun little project there. Russ from Quilt Meets World is here with us. Tessa House, Kerry Living Good, Samantha Savage is good, says good morning. Janice from The Right Way is here. She also has her channel. She's been on this before. !Janice for her. Mary G, Kathy Hudgens, Teresa Lynch, Cynthia Maria Field. She says, good morning, old fellow quilters from a cloudy bulb in New York. Please give a thumbs up. Yeah, please, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. It helps us out immensely. Jan Johnson is here from Western Australia. Good evening to you. Brenda Foley. Oh, geez, what am I doing here? Messing stuff up. Sarah is here with us. Mona did what? Leslie G and Tantrum, Quilting in the Man Cave. It's good to see you, Rob. I haven't heard from you in a while, so it's good to see that you're here with us today. Lisa from the Awkward Quilter. And I think I caught everybody, but if I miss someone, just tag me and I'll say good morning as well. But if you are watching the replay, which I know a lot of folks do because we come on super early, like I just love that Fallon was willing to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to join me, her time. Let me know where you're watching from and what today's weather is. That's going to be my question for today, because today I think it's supposed to be about 72 degrees. It's cloudy, which is about 21 degrees Celsius. But so, yeah, let us know what the weather is like where you're living today, because I was talking to someone in Halifax, Nova Scotia yesterday, and they were like, yeah, it's 23 degrees up here, which is like 76, which is unusually warm for them. So let's see what the weather looks like in your part of the world today. So what are you going to work on today, Fallon?
So I am a little bit embarrassed by this because if any of you do watch my channel, I've been working on this quilt forever. I got a good chunk of it done for the video, but I'm going to finally get the final 2 blocks for my Bargello sewed together. I had hoped to get it done a long time ago because it is such a beautiful quilt. But yeah, these 2 blocks have been sitting here clipped.
Okay, so
I got it done. I started working on it, got the video up around the 4th. So it's time. I need to get these 2 blocks done.
it happens. Like there's no need to be embarrassed. I mean, like last week I was working on the trash truck blocks, and I realized I hadn't worked on those since July 4th when I had Beth from Goody Goods on with me. So, things happen. You get involved in different projects, and sometimes things get put to the side, and it's okay. At the end of the day, it's our fun time, it's our hobby time. So, you work on what you want to, when you want to, and, if stuff gets put to the side a little bit for here or there, it's okay. I mean, this one, like what I'm working on today has been put to the side for a little bit for a while too. So I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm going to work on my City Avenues quilt.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's basically just a bunch of 2.5-inch squares of these different colors. I call them donut holes. It's my new name for 2.5-inch squares, because, we have layer cakes, we have jelly rolls. And so, these look like little donut holes to me. So that's my name. I hope it takes off. I know it's not going to, but that's my name for it. So, but geez, these squares I cut out. I used to make drawstring project bags for knitters and crocheters and sell them on Etsy years ago. And I just kept all these little 2.5-inch squares. I thought one of these days I'll make them into a quilt. I did make a quilt last year out of some of them, and I still had a bunch left over. So I started this here. People have asked about the pattern. It's a work in progress because I'm actually writing it as I'm making it. So it is in progress. You'll get the pattern at some point in the future, but I make no promises as to when that will be. It could be this Christmas, that might be next Christmas, who knows, but we'll get you a pattern at some point in the future as well. So I actually have like the little avenue thing here, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and then we'll go ahead and start making some more progress on that. So
have you decided if you're going to make it a pattern that's for sale or a free pattern?
I think I'm going to make it free. I might sell some patterns at some point, but this will be my first pattern. So I think I would like to give it away and just get input from everybody else. I mean, I may sell patterns down the road, but this will not be one of them. I really don't want to sell my first pattern because it's probably going to have a bunch of mistakes in it. And, let's just let everybody test it out and help me improve. And then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah. What I have found is really hard is the way my mind works when I come up with a pattern, I feel like is very different than how it would usually be written in pattern form. So right. It's really hard for me to translate that into a written pattern. So what I've been doing is just giving all the information in videos, but then in the comments, I always get, where's the pattern? Like, I want to download the pattern. I want to print it out. And I'm like, So the last video I did, I put together a PDF, but the whole time when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I hope everybody understands this because this is how my mind works when I, when I put this together.
Yeah. Have you considered using testers?
Yeah. But it's free. So I'm like, all the information is in a video and then it's all hopefully it's enough and I'll get feedback. Everybody is fine with giving me feedback on it. And then I can make adjustments if I need to in it, but yeah, I think I would definitely do that with testers if I was selling it, but I walk through everything in the video too, so.
Right. No, that sounds fun. Jan was asking what you're working on today. Fallon is working on a Bargello quilt, but the thing I love about that, and she was telling me about it off camera before we got started, is that you make this one in blocks. So rather than having these ginormous big long strips, which intimidate the heck out of me, you make it in blocks and then put the blocks together. Like, I think this is like the neatest idea.
Yeah, it's a Jordan Fabrics pattern that I used. And I'll grab, because I think it's right over here. Sorry, I'm off camera, but I am still here.
Oh, you're fine. I'll entertain them while you wander off. All right, so let's see. We were talking about the weather a little bit earlier. Let's see. Laura Raft is here with us. She's from Wales. It's always good to hear. Donnell says she's in Roseville, Michigan. The weather here today is 70s and mostly sunny.
Oh, Michigan.
Yep, Michigan. Roseville. I don't know. Because you're from Michigan. I forgot that. I'm so used to you being in Texas.
While, yeah. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, that it's so much easier to put together than I thought that it would be. But I have a stack of blocks that I still need to sew onto it, and then these two to finish. So it's definitely not finished, but it's still a good size. Like, it would make a great lap quilt. I just have all this already cut and worked on, so I'm like, I need to finish it all.
That sounds great. Yeah, we've got a bunch of comments in here. Jan says it's 15 degrees at the moment, but it's 8 p.m. So that's about 61 degrees Fahrenheit. It's always nice that you have someone here that can translate for you. My exchange students are super excited that I know metric as well, because we went to the state fair last weekend and we showed them all the giant pumpkins. You know, you go there and you see like these 800-pound pumpkins, 1,000-pound pumpkins. And my father-in-law was telling the boys, hey, you know, this is 900 pounds, 1,000 pounds. And they're just sitting there looking at me like,
what does that mean?
I'm like, okay, so that one's 400 kgs and that one's 500 kgs. And I mean, their eyes just got real wide. Like, I was talking in a language they understood. So, yeah, it's nice knowing both. So, Lisa from the Orca Quilters says, the weather is great. Good time to go play outside. Ange Slows is here from the UK. It's good to see you as well. See, Kathy says it's 69 at the moment. We'll go up to 96 today. So she must be close to where you are, I guess.
It is it's still hot here.
Yeah, I think it's actually been fairly cool here recently. It was actually, I think it was warmer in Halifax in Canada yesterday than it was here. So, but it was like that at some point early this year. I think like the rest of the country was on a heat wave and we were freezing to death here. So, yeah, weather does crazies.
It was really nice when we were in Michigan 2 weeks ago. Really nice there. I think still probably warmer than it normally is that time of year, but here in Texas, we're still in the heat wave. It's so hot.
Yeah. All right. Bev Green is here. She says, good morning. She's in Northern California. I absolutely love when my folks from the Pacific Coast hop on alive at this hour. Yeah. It just amazes me, like that the fact that you're functioning at 5:15 in the morning and able to actually, you know, open your eyes and actually type something. Like, even if you're talking to the phones for it to type, you know, you're still doing something great. Marge is here. She says, good evening, Sean and Fallon. She's from Brisbane in the east coast of Australia, so it's like after 10 p.m. there. She says a bit late, still revering as the Lions lost tonight, which is one of her football teams. Tomorrow the Broncos face the Panthers in the grand final, very stressed. And so the Lions, I believe, in the Australian Football League, which is
I was like because I was thinking Detroit Lions, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they won. I don't watch football, but my daughter had soccer Thursday night, and when we got home, the game was just ending. So I was thinking Detroit Lions, and I was like, everybody in my house was happy. So I think that they won. So I was like, I'm confused.
Yeah, no, we're talking about Australian football. So yeah, apparently one of her teams lost, and then the other one will play in the early hours of the morning here in the US tomorrow. It's going to be her team, which is the Brisbane Broncos. versus the Penrith Panthers. So the Australian football teams tend to have the same, a lot of the same similar names, like the Panthers, the Tigers, the all that sort of stuff, but yeah, different city names. So it can be confusing there. So there you go. All right. So apparently Collingwood won, which was the Magpies, which is a Victorian team. So yeah, anytime they win, the New South Wales and Queenslanders aren't real happy about that. But I've got a good mate of mine who's a huge Collingwood fan, so he's probably jumping and screaming and carrying on like a pork chop right now. So
Danelle was with me. She was confused too. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
no, I'm sorry. I should have specified that.
No, it's fine. I love that because now I learned something new too. I had no idea.
Yeah, and then their football season tends to end right before the US football season ramps up. So there you go. All right. So Donnell says, Fallon, we actually have a football team this year so far, knock on wood. So there you go. Yeah, I'm not a huge American football fan, and I just never got into the game. I kind of stopped watching baseball back in May when the White Sox decided they didn't want to, win more than 50 games in a year. So right now, just kind of stuck with sewing. That's kind of worked for me. There you go. All right, let's see. What else have I missed? We've got different folks telling us all about the weather, which I think is awesome. I'm going to have to go back and find all that stuff in just a minute. I'm just so distracted this morning, but that's every day. So there we go. Okay. So what else have you had going on your channel? Have you had anything exciting going on that I've missed? Because I try and watch your videos as often as I can, but I know I miss stuff because...
Yeah, it's hard because we have so many people we would like to keep up with too.
Yes.
Just as the viewers have a lot of us that they like to watch, but it's hard to catch everything everyone's doing. I've been sick, so it's been a while since I had a video go up. But I finally had one go up yesterday. I finished editing and everything. And it's a layer cake friendly quilt, and it makes a large plaid design. So this video just went up yesterday showing how to walk through that quilt. So that's pretty much the newest thing on my channel right now. It was a lot of fun to put together. It comes together really fast because it's just 4 blocks. They're all big 9 patches, and then you cut the strips into it to get the plaid look.
Yeah, and I've seen plaid patterns similar to that in the past, and that's been something I've, every time I see one, I'm like, it's beautiful, I have to make it. And then
you have 18 other patterns on your list that you were wanting to.
Yeah, and then like exactly. I have 18 other patterns that I'm working on, and then by the time I think about, oh, okay, where was that plaid pattern? I can't remember. So the fact that you've done it now, now I can be like, okay, now I'm ready to do the plaid pattern that was Fallon's. I can go check out because you always do wonderful tutorials. You're one of my faves. So I might actually get it done sometime in the next 15 years now that I know where I can go and find it, because I always forget where the plaid pattern is. I'm too lazy to go look for it. So there you go. So Donnell says here that everyone is going to be able to meet her 14-year-old Yorkie today on her live stream at noon Eastern. About to give them a bath and a haircut beforehand. That'll be awesome. I don't know if they'll be able to make the live today, but I will definitely have to come back and check out the replay there as well. So yeah, if you want someone to watch at noon today, Donnell's going to go live. She's a lot of fun. So definitely go check out her channel. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Good morning, Marie Johns. It's good to see you here with us as well. And if I missed someone, just let me know, because I know I probably missed at least 5 people. All right, Brenda says she has a 5th Saturday bag from my quilt store, 20% off to fill it, so I must go out today. Oh, that sounds like fun. I don't know if we have anything like that. All right, so we're almost finished sewing this on. I made the strip like, I don't even know when the strip was made. I kind of found it like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was made before that. So who knows? But it's attached now.
Oh, nice. That's going to be such a fun pattern, Sean.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Way for people to use up their There's scraps and everything too.
Yeah, I mean that's what my inspiration is, because I have this bag full of prints. Well, it's not full now. These things used to be like chock full, and this is my solids. So it's about half full. So by the time I finish this quilt and maybe one more, I might actually have like most of them gone, which will be nice. And so I have this as well, which I made at some point, and then I got distracted by something shiny. I'm always distracted by something shiny. So what I get to do now is make another one of these blocks, and these are nice because all it is 16, like a 16 patch. Super, super easy. So I will have a pattern out for this at some point in the near future. Hopefully I've started writing it. I've got as far as putting the fabric requirements for the wide. I haven't figured out how many 2.5 inch squares, because I can't just say go to your bag full of 2.5 inch squares and pull out 700 of them.
Yeah.
I have to actually sit down. I've actually got to sit down and count how many you need. So that'll be fun to do. Let's see. I've got to figure out which one I'm doing next. I messed this up. Okay, I should have done this before the live. I was a smart man. Okay. Start off with, where'd that go? I lost my. You think I would be more organized. Brenda says, she says, I have a basket of mini charms. Wonderful. That's 2.5 inch squares, right? The mini charm squares. Yes, no. Someone can tell me in the chat. I think so. Yes, if you have a bunch of them laying around, or if you have charm squares, you can just cut them in the 4 and then you have 4 little ones. Or if you want, well, if you left them intact, you'd have to trim them down to 4.5 inch squares, I think. So, but I'll work it out into the pattern at some point. So there we go. All right, so we've got this. I was trying to get this organized and it's not working. Okay, well, we're just going to go along with whatever it is. That is fine. We will get it. And these are those ones. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off since 6 o'clock this morning. And so trying to get some videos recorded and everything else. So let's see. Yeah, Jan saying any Aussies on here get the Black Cat Quilt Code subscription. I think that was the one she was showing over on the Discord channel earlier. I think it was last night she was showing that. That was a lot of fun to see. So, because yeah, a lot of the stuff here in the US is great, but once you do shipping down to Australia, it's super, super expensive. Speaking of shipping and stuff there, how's everything going with the your product sales, like the different wonderful products you have?
Everything has been going good until we got back from Michigan. Everything went crazy. Our machine that cuts like the holes and everything in it broke.
Whoops.
Yeah. So the company that we bought it from is really good. They are just sending us the part that we need. Well, we got it in. So hopefully everything will get back to normal. We've had to put like a lot of our stuff out of stock because I mean, we can't build it if we don't have that machine running, but hopefully it'll be up and good. I think Donnell asked how we've been doing. We went to Michigan, we all got sick, and then that fell apart. So we're hoping to get back to doing lives soon after everybody's feeling completely better and everything. But yeah, it's been crazy. That's just how life is, though. Every now and then it gets hectic, and then hopefully it goes back to normal after that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I know how it is being sick. Like I know what was about this time last year, we had like a 3-month period where everybody was taking turns on being sick. I think I started off COVID, and then Amanda got a sinus infection, and then our exchange student at the time, Daria, got like multiple ear infections. So yeah, we ran through that same thing as well. And hopefully this year that won't happen, but I make no promises.
Yeah, it's that time of year, it feels like.
All right.
It preps us to be grateful at the holidays, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to do it now than during the holidays. It's very, very true. So, all right. And that's part of the fun with this is, oh, hang on, am I missing a piece? Yes. All right. Because I just pick random colors out of these bags. I'm not really doing anything too crazy. All right.
Oh, Steven, that sounds like fun. I can't wait to see your video on the shop hop because the quilt shops that I go to here are doing one right now for Halloween. But of course, since I've been sick, I didn't want to go there. There's no way I'm going to go shopping and spread that around everywhere. So I miss doing it, but I've been wanting to do one so badly. So I'm curious to see what you think of it. I think that would be fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and we haven't had one in this area that I know about for quite a while, but I heard they're doing a really big one. There's like a ton of shops in Virginia doing it next summer.
Oh,
One of
that'll
my
be
viewers.
fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But they have one, I think, up in the central and western part of Virginia that starts next month. But most of those are like a good distance from me, so I won't really able to participate in that. But the one next year apparently has like the whole state involved, is from what I've been told. Because one of the ladies that watches my channel, Angel from Halo Inspirations, who I got to meet early this year, she has a quilt shop up in Williamsburg, and she was telling me all about it because she's she's one of the shops participating in it. Whoops, and now I've messed this up. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Pam's heading to bed because it's after 10 p.m. there. So thank you for joining us, Pam. Come back and check out the replay when you get a chance. All right.
I am really trusting that I kept all these strips lined up because I just realized I'm not paying attention to make sure that they are all in the right order. But
I always worry about it.
It's working out. So
All right, Brenda is asking Stephen if he's in Canada. Yes, he is in Canada. I believe it's in Oshawa, which is just like one of the northern suburbs or the northern part of the Toronto area. I think this machine and I got a fight today. Yep. All right, what have I done wrong here? Okay, that seems right. Okay, we'll have to rethread this because I don't know what happened, but it's making a bunch of noise it shouldn't be.
that's always nerve-wracking.
No, it's all right. Usually once I rethread it, it behaves itself. It's been a really, really good little machine, so I can't complain too much. Okay, so Donnell is asking you, Fallon, since you're from St. Clair Shores area, Michigan, do you happen to know of any good quilt shops in that area? I would like to visit something other than the big box stores.
I do not remember any quilt shops from around there because it's been about 7 or 8 years since we lived there, unfortunately, and my memory is not great.
No,
I honestly, because where we live, there was a Joann's walkable from our house. That's where I went most of the time. So unfortunately, that is not like a small quilt shop in Ann Arbor, though, because it was so big. When we lived there, there's this I think it was called the Ann Arbor Sewing Center. That place had so many different bolts of fabric because it was a big location, like a lot larger than most of the small quilt shops that I'm used to going to here and now. So that's why I remember that one so much. But in the St. Clair Shores, Grosse Pointe area, I can't think of any because like I just mainly went to that Joann's. My kids were young then, so anywhere close and walkable was better for me at the time.
for sure. Yeah, I haven't been to my quilt shop in a while. They've probably forgotten who I am by now. Yeah, the last time I went to Joann's, I went in, I was very disappointed because like the shelves were almost bare. Ended up going somewhere else afterwards. I couldn't find what I was looking for. But it is what it is. All right. So good morning, Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Her and I had a good chat yesterday. I know most of you folks know already, but I did go to the state fair last weekend. And
and you got a ribbon on yours. And
I did. I got honorable mention, which we believe is fourth place, or very, very close to third. I mean, the level of competition up there these days is a lot higher than it was even like 2 years ago. So there was 6 entrants in the doll quilts category, and it's kind of hard to see because they have to hang the quilts like 10, 15 feet up because apparently they were going walkabout in years past. But from what I could see, the level of skill that the ladies and gentlemen are now bringing into the equation is so much higher now. So to be basically fourth in the state for a doll quilt, I think is a pretty good achievement.
I think that's awesome. I need to get up the courage to enter something, and I would be absolutely ecstatic for like anything.
Do you have like a local fair or something like that?
I'm sure there is. I just I don't like, I think it would be a lot of fun to focus on a quilt to really enter. It's just actually doing that because and I find quilting, it's like my unwinding time, and I have so much fun doing it. I've seen and I don't know if smaller, local fairs and stuff do that, but I've seen a lot of people post like their feedback cards and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if that would take the fun out of this for me, if they're like, if I'm critiqued on every part of something that I like found a lot of joy in doing. I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense, but
it does for sure. Because like I'm happy to share the story again. But I got my report card because 2021 was the first time I entered a doll quilt. And I mean, the points were off. Yeah, the quilting was nice, but the points were off and everything else. And it was a very, very basic report card. Oh, hang on, here it is.
Oh, see, I would have thrown that right out.
I know this one was fine. It basically said, okay, we're going to circle the things that you need help, that you need to improve on, and it shows piecing here. But the points were off by like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Like Blind Freddy could have told me that my piecing needed work. So that's the only thing they circled. And then they told me that was excellent pinwheel fabric. So I mean, this was a great report card. Like I was ecstatic with that. Last year's, which I've happened to have misplaced, was very, very detailed. Like they told you, about your binding, all that sort of stuff there. And some of it was good and some of it needed improvement. And yeah, it was kind of a bitter pill to swallow. Like I read that thing and I put it to the side for like 2 weeks. Like I really had to sit there and process it for a while. But at the end of the day, it was really nice to be able to go back on that and go, okay, yeah, my sashing needs improvement, my inner sections need improvement, which to me was like, I'm not entering another quilts with sashing or anything like that in the quilt show for a while until I improved it. So it's hard to take that criticism sometimes. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't hard, but it's also good to see that, so that way you know how to improve for the next time around, because I took a lot of that information from last year and put it into this year's quilt, because sometimes you go into these shows and unless you've done all the research, you're kind of going into it not knowing all the rules.
Yeah.
And so getting the feedback, you kind of get to know what the judges are looking for, because I think they have like the same judge each year. So if you know what they're looking for, it's only going to help your cause. All right, my friend Heather is here from the Debt Free Quilter. Good morning. It's good to see you as well. If you haven't checked out her channel, it's there. I think I have it in there. It should be ! Heather. And if not, I can go grab it real quick. And if you have a channel and I haven't mentioned you yet, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure I say something for you as well. Susan Urat says, I love entering my quilt in our county fair. 2 years before it shut down, I started entering the regional state fair as well. That's awesome. And Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches entered her quilt into the Ohio State Fair and got a third place with hers, which is phenomenal because, you know, she's competing with all those wonderful Amish ladies who do absolutely amazing work. So to pull third place in Ohio, I think is, you know, a really, really big achievement there as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, good morning, Nancy. It's good to see you as well. Yeah, like I've looked at Texas State Fair. It's like the largest fair in the world. And with that, they don't even display your quilts unless you're one of the winners. Like apparently you put them in like a month before, they judge them. And then if you don't win, you go pick them up 2 weeks later. So, but you know, I guess you only have a limited amount of room. So I guess when you get that big, you have to kind of pick or choose. I guess it's either that or you're a jury. So I mean, I think at least that way you can give it a go and see how you do. And if you don't make it, well, you know, but yeah, give it a try if you want to and just see what happens. So I'm happy I tried. I know I'm going to keep up on my game because yeah, all these folks are coming out of the woodworks and entering stuff. And but you know, each year I get better. So I get to go get my quilt on Wednesday, which I'm really excited to bring that home. And then my wife, Amanda, entered some socks that she knit and got first place. You know, she's just really talented like that.
And she did last year too, didn't she?
Yeah. She entered 2 items last year. She entered a pair of socks and got first place, and she entered a shawl and won first place and best in show.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be getting best in show anytime soon, but at least we have one best in show ribbon here in the house, so that's always good. All right, so Marge is heading off to bed because it's after 10:30 p.m. where she is. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what Stephen, you know, shows us with the shop pop. When I go next year, I'd like to take video and do that sort of thing there as well. So Sheila WC says, good morning, y'all, listening while getting ready to go visit my friend in North Carolina. Congratulations on doing well at State Fair, Sean. Thank you so much for that. So there you go. What part of North Carolina? Because I'm about 15 miles as the crow flies from the North Carolina border. All right. Well, it looks like we have Anita Saville Harris from Western Australia. Good evening. It's good to see you. I always love having people from Australia come on. That was one of the reasons I started doing my lives in the mornings. I thought, you know, obviously I'm a morning person, and I thought I might be able to catch some of my Aussie mates before they all go to bed. So Stephanie is asking what we're working on this morning. I am working on my, what I call my City Avenues quilt, which is a scrappy project and something I'm just kind of making up as I go along. I got inspiration for this from a picture I found online, but the lady that made it did not have a pattern. She just kind of made it up as she went along as well. So I am writing a pattern that you'll be able to use at some point in the future, but I just don't know when that's going to be. I just don't want to say, yeah, it's going to be ready next month when it could be, you know, 6 months from now. Yeah. And then what are you working on today?
I am working on my Bargello quilt. So let me.
Oh yeah, this one's fun. You've got to see this.
So I'm working on the blocks to finish off the Bargello quilt that I feel like I may have made more blocks than I needed at this point, because it really is already, I mean, it's pretty big already. So maybe I ended up cutting more than I needed. I don't know. It'll just be a really big cozy quilt in the end, I guess.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. So, all right. So Sheila says, Raleigh, it's Sheila from Yorktown. We'll be heading up to Yorktown soon to take the boys to go see the museum up there. Because what we've been trying to do with them is, as they learn about these different places in history, US history class, we go take them up there so they can see, you know, what they're learning about. Because in this part of Virginia, you get to be able to see all that stuff. Yeah, that's a good question, Stephen. He's asking, what is the quilt pattern called for that Bargello? Do you have the name handy?
I know it is Jordan Fabrics pattern. I have a link to it in the video where I showed putting it together. Let me see if I can find it quickly because it's a pretty popular pattern from Jordan Fabrics.
Okay.
Let me see so I can give the exact name.
Well, that's fine. Steve's a pretty smart guy, so he'll be able to figure it out from there.
Yeah, I should have looked. So it's Donna's free super simple Bargello. It's on her website there. It's a free pattern. But I love this one because it comes together in blocks, which is so much more manageable for me doing a quilt like this because I usually have decent chunks of time to work on a quilt, but having all those strips laying around, if you're doing the full quilt in those long strips, I know I would just become a mess with it. But I mean, I've had these clipped together for months now, and they're all still in the right order, and I don't have to worry about it being all messed up and having to pick 8 million seams out because I sewed strips together wrong. This is a great pattern.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, that might be something that I'm thinking too. That would be really nice for people that don't have a huge sewing area, because there's a lot of folks out there, because I've asked this question in the past about your sewing space, and some of us have the advantage of having like a sewing, like an entire sewing room or sewing rooms in some cases, but then there's some of us that have a fairly small space. So you've been able to put a Bargello together in a smaller space. I think that'll be more doable with this way. And then once you put it all together, it's a whole different ball game. But
yeah, especially because this is turning out to be very, very big.
Sorry, Margie comes up with a good point. She says she thinks some shams or pillows would be good for your extra blocks. I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah.
All right, Marie's got to work on Vortex and legit kits today. She got behind. Yeah, that's why that was one of a few reasons I didn't get the Vortex myself, because I figured I'd just get behind with everything else I have going on, because I like doing a million projects at once. But yeah, I just figured that was going to be one too many. So
yeah, I mean, because you're doing both of the last puzzle mystery quilts too. And even
yes.
though they come once a month, it's still a lot. You only have so many days that you can work on them all.
Well, I split mine up into two, because what I do with mine, and this is the magician revealing his secrets, is I do half of the clue, if it's 2 blocks, for instance, like you make 2 of the same block. I do one on my live, and then I do the other one as a time lapse.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Because someone asked me,
like those time lapse ones. Those are fun to watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. That's kind of how I did it with So Sweet when I was doing it by myself last year. Because I just thought, like it'd be fun just to show people how it goes together, but not, take a lot of time. Because my attention span is short. If you haven't already figured that out, and so I figured that might be a good way to show it. And so I just kind of continued that along as well, and it's kind of fun being able to do both. All right, Janice is behind on, apparently everybody's behind on the Vortex. So if you are behind on the Vortex, you're in good company with all our friends. So don't feel embarrassed about that. So
the nice thing with those though is like that's always going to be there when you have time to work on it and catch up.
Exactly. I mean, I'm behind on my Wizard of Oz. That thing finished in May, and I still have one full block to make and a lot of the mini blocks. And it is what it is. Okay, Laura Craftwell says, I'm logging off. Bye, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us for a little while. It's always good to see you as well. Okay, Donnell says the dog is washed. Finley's probably hiding right now because she doesn't like to be washed either. So, okay. Lisa from the Quilting Compound says, October 21st is the sew along for Bargello around 5 or 6 on Donna's channel. Because, we'll talk about that earlier. Donna is doing the Bargello. She does, I think, like one a year.
Yeah, I know. That's what kind of got me is her last one. I was like, I need to do one of those because it's so beautiful. But yeah. I knew for me and how I like to sew, doing it the way she did, I'm not going to be able to do that, especially right out, never doing one before. So I found this pattern. It's definitely more manageable for me, but now I can maybe I'll tackle hers this time around.
Yeah, and that might be a good option too. I have not made one. I will at some point, but I make no promises as to when, because I have too many shiny objects going on at once at the moment as it is. And I know next week or the week after, someone's going to show me something shiny that I'm just going to have to do right then and there. So if you wait for me to do a Bargello, you might be waiting a while. All right, let's see. Okay, so Janet, okay, so Anita's in the Geraldton area. Okay, I know exactly where that is. Over in Western Australia. Right. Are you doing the Vortex or no? You haven't done it.
No, I haven't done any of the legit kits yet. I was really tempted to try that one out because I mean Donna honestly makes it look so much fun. A lot of people who work on the legit kits really make it look so much fun. But I knew like I had to step away from doing the puzzle mystery quilts for a little bit because with everything we have going on, I just can't keep up with them. And I know like I can go back and work on them later and everything, but I just needed to step back from all the monthly obligations I was giving myself. So it's definitely on my list to try one. I heard that since that went so well, they might try doing another monthly one, and maybe I'll see what that is and see if it's something I can try. But right now, I just didn't have the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah, and that's important. Like you've got to be able to say sometimes, hey, I just cannot add one more thing to my plate. Like it's too easy to say yay. It's hard to say no, but sometimes for your own sanity, you have to say no. And that's okay if you say no. All right. So let's see. Oh, Heather's saying here that now I've lost it. She says that her favorite phrase is "I make no promises so that when no one gets upset." I love that. I think I might have to adopt that as well.
So now I only have one more block to do, and then I can sew them all together.
Yeah, I have a legit kit pattern. I bought the pattern back in February.
Which one did you get?
I got Toasty the Dragon.
Oh, that one's great. I go in there all the time when I see somebody put up another one and I'm like in there looking at them all. I'm thinking about trying one of their little flowers first because they have those, but
yeah,
pull the trigger.
I thought that it? No, I just bought the pattern. I have not bought the fabric yet because like for anyone that doesn't know, the Toasty Dragon, it's a drag, it's a big dragon. And he is in a bunch of different like red fabrics, and I thought it'd be fun to do it in a different color. So my plan is to go and do it a different color. And it took me 6 months to decide which color I was going to make the drag, and then I decided I'm not kidding. Yeah, because I went between. Originally I thought I'd do green, and then I thought, oh, maybe blue will be nice, and then I thought maybe we'll do it pink like the dragon from Shrek, and then I thought maybe we'll do it in brown so it actually looks like toast for Toasty, and well, maybe I'll do it in purple, and maybe I'll do batiks, and maybe I'll do this, and I'll do that, and everything else, and then eventually I've decided on purple. So my next step now, and it's all going to be in Kona solids because that's what they asked for, and if you do solids, you don't have to worry about which way's up and which way's down.
Right.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder is my philosophy. So, but it does require quite a few different colors. I have a lot of them here at home, but I will have to go buy some. So I think I'm just going to take like a half day or something one day early next year, go to the quilt shop, figure out what I need, because I only need like a quarter yard of this, half a yard of that, quarter yard of this, and just go and get what I need, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But I'm really not committing to that until sometime next year, because otherwise I will go crazy.
Yeah. That one, they have so many really, really cool looking kits up. That owl one almost got me when I saw them release that. I was like, oh. But I need to finish some of the stuff I have going right now.
Yeah, the one that's really caught my eye is that Lady Liberty.
Yes, that one too. That one. That's their newest one that just released, isn't it?
I think so. If it's not the latest one, it's one of the latest ones. Yeah, I know. I just saw that come out quite recently. But yeah, again, that's going to be like a down the road thing. And that one I would just buy the kit because there's no point. You don't want to change that. You don't need a purple
Yeah.
Lady Liberty or a
Yeah.
pink or green.
You
I mean,
said
in some
that,
ways,
now someone's gonna do it. But I guess I mean, it could look neat. I mean, because you know those they're kind of like older artworks where there's like 4 pictures that are the same and
yeah.
they're all different color. I mean, it could kind of look like that.
One thing it would be, hang on. I didn't plug my iron in. Terrible. What would be kind of neat is to make it in all coppers, different shades of copper, because, you know, the Statue of Liberty, when she was gifted to the US and France, was it's made out of copper. So originally it was a copper color, and then over time it's oxidized into the greenish, bluish color that we know of it today. So it would be fun to do it in that sort of color scheme, but it's a lot of work. Like, I didn't realize how many colors there was in Toasty. If I'd seen the color chart before I bought Toasty, I wouldn't have probably wouldn't have gone down that route.
Yeah, and then you have to keep them all straight, like where they go, and yeah,
Well,
they kind of did all that work for you, and then you undid it.
well, the nice thing is, like, I can print little labels, and then a lot of folks have those hanging file drawers.
Oh, is it Donna does something like that, right?
Yeah, Donna does it. I think Shannon does. I mean, anyone that's made more than one of these patterns has that. And I have one of those down here in my sewing room. It's ready with the hanging files and that sort of thing there. So once we get going with it, I kind of have an organization system down pat because I've watched all my friends do it already. So yeah, the biggest challenge for me, I think, is going to go get all the fabrics, which it's going to take me a few hours. I'm just going to wait till I have like a half day off work and go do it then.
I need to be organized like that. I kind of work in chaos.
Oh, I did too, uncertain thing. Oh, what did I do wrong here?
Like, if I turn this camera, everyone would be like, what are you doing, Fallon? With all this stuff I have stacked on my cutting table right now.
Give this up. Oops. All right, so yeah, and that's like everyone kept asking me to do a sewing room tour, you know, for years, like a year or two, and like I'm kind of like you. Yeah, you've turned the camera; it's an absolute mess. And I waited till we redid the floors and everything was nice and clean. And that's when I did my sewing room tour. So I definitely get that as well. All right, so where is Jack? Because we need him today. My coffee isn't kicked in. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll get that done at some point down the road. Donnell says that her biggest struggle is she doesn't have a design wall. I don't have one either. So, but I manage all right without it. I've made it this far here. Kate says, as someone that did a great tutorial about picking your own fabrics for the legit kits. Was that the Cranky Kangaroo that did that? Because I have a fair idea what I'm going to do. Nice thing about the purples is that Kona has a lot of different choices for purples. I have quite a few here in my stash as well. So it's going to be the easiest option for me as well. But I think I'm just going to take my thing to the store and just kind of make it up as I go along. And we'll make it work somehow. All right, let's see. Susan says, one thing great about doing the shop hop is she's found some really neat new stores that you can go visit. So that's always awesome. Okay. All right. Okay, yes, it was her. Okay, so I have to go. Yeah, I think I saw that at one point. I'll have to go check out her post to see how, yeah, because I think it'd be fun. I thought it'd be nice if they could actually like release like color schemes for the different like different color options for some of the different quilts if you wanted to do it yourself, because yeah, it's got to be a decent amount of work.
Yeah, I think they could also, like, for some of theirs, like the flowers that they have, and some of them they could probably just have different color options that you could click on and get a kit from them too.
Yeah, and that might be something down the road that they could offer. Because yeah, it would be fun to do it in different color options. we'll see what happens from there. So there you go.
They seem to be growing really, really fast.
Yes.
So
All right. Bobbing with Brittany, and she has a wonderful channel if you haven't seen that already. Says that I always mention my design floor as I lay blocks out on the linoleum. That's what I do. I put it on the biggest area I have in the house is the floor in the living room. So I usually lay a lot of stuff down there, especially my t-shirt quilts when I'm trying to do the layout for them, is I will put it down on the floor there as well. So I'm glad to know I'm not the only person that does that there as well.
I used to lay them out on the bed because I could lay everything out. And then when my kids were little, I didn't have to worry about them running across it if I was laying out, or the dog.
Yeah, Finley likes to
go
do across it. So yeah, I know what you mean.
But what I do is I'd lay it out and then I'd take pictures when I get it how I want, so that I can stack them up and refer back to the picture to make sure everything's laying out the way I'd planned.
Great minds think alike. I do exactly the same thing there as well. All right, Phyllis says that Kona has a panel of all their colors. Yes, I have that with me. The only issue is that if I go, okay, well, I want, you know, this, and this, and this, I'm going to go to the quilt shop, and that's going to be, they're going to have like, they're going to be missing 2 of those bolts. Yeah. So it's a great starting point for sure. I just can't, I'm not comfortable relying on that solely. But thank you so much for suggesting that. Yeah, I saw that panel at the quilt shop about 18 months ago, I think it was. And I was like, yeah, Sean, you got to have one of these in your collection. So it went straight into the shopping cart. And I always love hearing suggestions from the audience, because you guys have so many wonderful ideas, and I don't have all the answers. So I always rely a lot on my viewers to give me ideas and suggestions as well, because it's very, very much appreciated. All right. Donnell says she lays hers out on the queen size bed, have a bad back, so I can't do the floor layout anymore. Yeah, that's an awesome way of doing it as well. I've done that before with t-shirt quilts. I put it on like our king size bed just to see if it's wide enough. So yeah, I mean, I love that to me, it's kind of like you're MacGyvering it. And you know, you do what works for you. All right, Irish Sail Lady 1 says, I'm having my first cup of coffee. I wanted to stop in and give a thumbs up and say good morning. Today is a long day at work, so I catch the replay. Well, thank you so much for hopping in and saying hi, and I hope you do enjoy the replay once your work day is over. Thankfully, I don't have to work on Saturdays. But yeah, it's not everybody has that luxury as well. Jan says she hasn't done much sewing in the last month. She's been a bit slack. That's okay. Well, hopefully you'll get back into the swing of things fairly soon. Tamika is here with us this morning. It's always good to see her. I don't know if you guys remember, but she is the author of the quilt journal that I was showing off a couple of months ago. So if you haven't seen that, go over and check that out. It's a wonderful little quilt journal.
Oh, that's cool. What's it? So you have a video up showing it?
I do have a video up on it.
Okay. I'll have to check that out when we get off, because I've been needing something like that. So
I would highly recommend it. There's a lot of nice things about it. First of all, the price point, I think it was like $5.99 or $6.99. It wasn't super expensive. And it's just a nice little journal. Like it has like the fields for the information you need, but it's not so detailed that you would never fill it out. So yeah, definitely go over and check it out. And then you're also supporting a small business as well, which I think is always nice. You know,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, I love supporting the smaller creators wherever I can. Like I've bought stuff from you. I mean, I love your products, your slide lock, which, you know, it's right here. I love this thing. And my custom clapper. This has come in so helpful. Especially for my little blocks for the Art East and the Elizabeth Hartman projects. You can't live without one.
Have you started using your acorn pen yet? Have you?
No.
Okay,
I lie. I have used the glue once.
I like the stuff for the binding.
That's what I used it for, because with the State Fair of Virginia Quilt Show last year, that was one of the things that told me is that my mitered corners were not sewn down on the back. And that apparently it's the only show that anyone's ever heard of that requires this. And so someone told me, well, just glue it down. I was like, okay, because my hand stitching is horrible. It looks like a 2-year-old gorilla did it. So I stitched it down. I'm very interested to see in the report card whether that was a no-no or not. We will see. But we gave it a go, and we'll see what happens from next. So, all right.
I love that pen, that acorn pen.
Yes.
The small 2.5-inch hourglass blocks. I don't think I could have put those together without using that to get those seams down.
Yeah, my plan is to use it for the next block that's coming up, which is here, it's right here in front of me. See, this is the nice thing about having a small space, is that everything's within arm's reach. This is block 2.
That's so cute.
Yeah, the white rabbit. So he has a lot of small pieces. Well, they all do, but this one especially, I think. So I think the acorn pen is going to come in very, very handy for this one here. And I think that's where it's going to make its debut. So I was just, I cut out all the fabric already before I remembered to starch it for Alice. So I was like, I'm not doing it now. So we'll do it for the next one to see what happens.
Are those a lot of paper piecing, or is it all
It's all traditional. It's a lot of stitch and flip.
Okay.
Which is nice.
I wonder on those, because they look really intricate. So
yeah, if you do, I mean, I've done it before quite a few times without it, but my buddy, what was his name? Oh, now it's escaped me. Kendall Taylor was showing off this ruler. It's called the folded corner clipper. You might already have.
I think I have one of those that I got in one of my boxes, and I did a video on them, and they're really helpful.
Yeah, this thing is a game changer for me for the stitch and flip, because basically you just and I think I showed a little demonstration on it last week, and I'll do something in more detail soon, that you basically just lay this down, you see where the seam allowance is, you cut it, and then you just sew, and it's pretty much perfect every time. That was like the best $19 I ever spent for because the amount of stitch and flip that I do. So I'm so glad he showed it off on a video. I was actually watching it as I was getting ready for a live about 6 weeks ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this and see what happens. Okay, so Kate is asking, what is stitch and flip? So that is, how do I demonstrate it right now? That's a good question. Okay, we'll do it. We'll just do a little thing. Okay, so basically, let's say stitch and flip. Let's say you want to do a half square triangle. So you have your 2 pieces of fabric together. You'd sew down. Oh, hang on, I'm pointing on the wrong side, Sean. We'll get it right in a minute. Sew your half square triangle, and then it would flip. Like so, basically. So when you do a half square, okay, let's just make it easy. I'm getting too complicated, which is half of my problem. When you do a half square triangle, that process is stitch and flip, because you're basically sewing your thing and then you're flipping it. Does that make sense? Is that right? Am I telling that story correctly?
I think so, because there's a lot of different ways that you could explain it, because there's like a lot of people call it when you're doing like a log cabin block and you're doing it on a foundation. That's kind of like a stitch and flip too. If you're doing like dog ears on the side of a block and you're putting your fabric right side together, sew across, you trim it, flip it over, is a stitch and flip.
Yeah, because you're basically stitching and then you're flipping it. And don't worry about don't apologize, Kate. It's okay. Like, I love people asking questions. Sometimes we assume that everyone knows all the terminology, and I try not to use acronyms because not everyone knows it. And if you don't ask, you're not going to learn. And you're probably not the only person watching right now or later on that's going to have this question. So yeah, always ask. I'm more than happy to answer that for you as well. But she says, "Oh, I do that all the time. I didn't know it had a name." Yeah, there's been some stuff that there's been some stuff that I've been doing, and I'm like, oh, that's what it's called. But then you might talk to someone else and they call it something totally different. Like there's like these 2.5-inch squares, for instance. I call them donut holes because that's a Sean name. but now I think they call them like mini charm packs, mini charm squares.
Yeah,
The-
I don't think I have the packaging for the ones I have, but yeah, there's something like that.
Yeah, some people call them that, and then yeah, everyone has different names for it. So yeah, no, never, yeah, just ask. I love answering questions and helping folks out. So don't, yeah, anyone ever has a question, just spit it out, and we'll be happy to do that for you. Okay. And if you want to know what scatterbrained is, that's me on a Saturday morning. So, all right, so there you go. Kate says she thought something more incredible. No, yep, stitch and flip is fairly easy, and that's a nice, yeah. And we get that question too about the FPP with the Art East.
Oh yeah.
All the time. Yeah, a lot of people. It looks like FPP, but it's not. And it was actually interesting because I wasn't going to show everybody, but until tomorrow. But you get a little sneak peek. With Alice, this part here, like, because you actually sew a couple of different. Let's see. It almost looks like FPP right here and here because it actually is at two different angles.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I've wondered if his patterns are, because they're so detailed.
yeah. No, he doesn't use any FPP in his projects. So you'll see this in more detail tomorrow. And then I'm also going to publish a time lapse of this going together, and I'll release that next week. It's recorded. I just have to upload it. And that way you guys get to see that, because that's something I want to do of each of these blocks is show how they come together. It's going to be quick. And I've already had John's blessing to do it. He just told me not to give out the like the cutting directions, which I wouldn't do because you need to pay for the pattern. He's put a lot of work into it, and I don't want to give that away because that's his livelihood. So, but he said if I want to do the time lapses and show that coming together, I'm more than welcome to. So, which I thought was really, really kind of him.
Yeah, and I also think it's awesome that you asked. Because just to make sure, since that is, and they're it's a block of the month too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a content creator, especially because I am monetized, you can run into copyright issues if you're not careful. So yeah, I'm just in the mindset now that if I'm using someone's pattern and I want to show some sort of tutorial coming together, you're better off asking first, because that way you have, if they say yes, then you have it in writing and you're not going to have any problems. And then if they say no, then that's okay. I mean,
Yeah, it's really hard because twice now I've had my videos stolen and used to build channels. So I don't even like doing the shorts anymore, because those are the ones that keep getting stolen of mine.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of shorts either, because I don't do them well. It's not my forte. I'd rather do long form content. And if I'm going to do if I can do a short and it's going to look good, then I'll happily do one. But it's not my passion. So
I have a really hard time getting all the info that I feel like needs to be in those short videos.
For sure. So, but yeah, that's one reason, I remember you had your video stolen and that sort of thing there. And that's one reason that I have I love having the logo on the sewing machine right here, but it's also, I always make sure it's prominent in all the videos that I use, because that way, if they have to steal it, they're going to have to do some work to do it.
I need to do that too, and I keep forgetting. I did a few after that, and I added my logo on the bottom, but I always forget. I always forget to, because you just hope that somebody wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So there you go. Marie says Beth is the shorts queen. Yes, she is. Beth does a wonderful, she does a wonderful job in it. Like, some people just have a talent for making shorts. I wish I had that talent. I'm sure if I put the work into it, I could. But I'd rather put that time into sewing something and actually having something to show each week on my podcast. So, it's kind of like, what's important to you? For me, it's not shorts. And I see the benefits for it. Like, it directs traffic to your long form content that our time is limited and I choose to use my time in other ways. Will I do shorts in the future? Absolutely. If I have an idea and I can execute it, I'll happily do it. But for the most part, it's not for me. Let's see. Julie says, yes, we should be respectful of other people's creative work, including patterns. We should hold ourselves to the highest standards of respect and conduct in the community. Absolutely. I just figured, it's just better off asking, like most people will say yes, most people I've asked, they're like, yes, absolutely, go for it. Don't give, just direct the people to my website so they can get the pattern from me if it's a free pattern. And especially if it's paid, I will always ask. And that way my bases are covered. And then that way I don't have to worry about getting a copyright strike or anything else. And most people, I've only had one person say no, that I can't teach because they hold the right to that. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Like she was very nice about it. And I'm glad I asked first, because if I just said, okay, well, yeah, it'll be all right, potentially I could get in a lot of trouble for it. So
Interesting, because my husband's an attorney, so there's a bag designer that I love her bags, and she has on all of her things not to make a video of them. So I don't, and my husband asked me why I don't, and I'm like, because it says not to. And he's like, technically, if you don't give out any of the information, she can't hold you to that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just going to be respectful. And he completely understands that. It's just kind of interesting how the law works, like I would never, if somebody asked me not to, because I would want the same respect of something of mine too. But
yeah. So Anita says, fact is huge amounts of free patterns available of existing information. Yeah, even if it's a free pattern, I will go ask the if I'm just doing a short, like a quick thing of me, like my podcast, I do my weekend reviews, just video of me sewing real quick. If I'm just putting in like a 4-second clip of me sewing something, I'll put it in, like, because I'm not giving anything away, and I really don't think that could really upset anybody. But if I want to do like a time lapse or anything of any significance with a particular pattern, free or paid, I will always go ask the pattern writer first, just to be on the safe side. And I just think it's just that way you're covered, and it just makes everyone happy. And that's most people are excited, like, oh, you want to use my pattern, it makes them happy.
It helps them too. I mean, because it gets traffic to their pattern or product.
And
I've tried to move to just coming up with some of my own designs, which is hard, but then you just don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. And that's where I want to go too. Like, I have so many pattern ideas in my head. I need to finish the one for the City Avenue so I can actually get my feet wet. And then I have some really, really neat ideas. But I just need the time to sit down and do it. Anita's asking, where are you located? You are in Texas, in the Houston area? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, all right. So, Susan says she's contacted quilters who put their free patterns on the internet to ask if my quilt guild can use them for their monthly blocks. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, just ask. More than likely people will say yes. But that way you have something in writing too. So that way, if they change their mind, be like, well, you told me here I could. So, but it's just easier that way. All right. So I've gotten some progress made. I've done this, and I made another 16 patch somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I told you I'm scatterbrained this morning. Right there. So I really should go ahead and make another one of these. And then that way I can put all this stuff together. We have to get that and that. All right. But I have, let's see, what have I got going on this week? I have a fun video coming out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So stay tuned for that. I have my podcast
with Stephen.
Yeah. And some others. There's a few of us involved in this. I said, I want to give too much away, but it's going to be a fun little project. And you'll definitely want. Sorry?
Whose channel will it be on? Is it a live or is it a recorded?
we're all going to release something tomorrow morning at the same time.
Okay,
So you'll just get,
okay.
yeah. So just keep an eye out for that. Yeah, so we'll have that going on, and you'll want to watch that fairly soon because it's going to be interactive. The viewer's involvement is encouraged and pretty much required. So
This is
yeah.
really intriguing, Sean, and now I don't want to have to wait.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to give it away, but
No,
yeah,
no,
it's gonna be,
I understand. I'm just teasing, but that does sound really fun.
that's my teaser. So yeah, come back, yeah, check out my channel at 10 a.m. and then yeah, the other ones will have it on theirs as well. And then yeah, we'll just we'll more details of all the details will be released at that time. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as well. Good morning, Basita. It is good to see you here as well. It's always good to see my friend Basita. She's one of my friends from Canada as well. She says, fair call, Sean. Anita's saying, fair call, Sean. I was thinking personal use, not public use only. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've always been under the impression better safe than sorry. I was selling face masks back in 2020 and 2021 during the pandemic, and I was using different Harry Potter fabrics. And there is nothing, a lot of times you'll see on the selvage, especially like the Disney stuff and that, it says, not for resale,
Oh, yeah.
not for commercial use, and none of this had it on there. So, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm okay to do this. I've purchased the fabric. It doesn't say I can't use it, so I was selling it, and then I got hit. They had a copyright claim put on me, and they said you have to stop selling the stuff immediately. So it's like, okay. And so ever since then, I've been a little gun shy.
Was it Disney Prince?
No, it was Warner Brothers for
Oh,
Harry
okay.
Potter. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you don't mess with Disney.
Yeah, Disney is a big one. Like I know daycares that had to remove murals that were done in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I was well aware of the Disney thing. I wasn't even going down that route. But yeah, I mean, I figured if there was nothing on the selvage that you were free and clear to use it. And then I was doing some research afterwards, and some people have told me, you could have challenged it and that sort of thing there. But it was getting towards the end of the face mask requirement things anyway. And I'm just like, you know what, I've had my fun. As long as they don't sue me, I'll just quit and go about my day. And that was the end of it. They were happy. Basically, it was what was it, cease and desist, I think it was what they called it. And as long as I complied with that, they were happy. So there you go. Basita says she sold tons of Mickey and Minnie masks during COVID. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did, and there was a lot of people selling stuff after I finished. But basically, from what I understand, is they have to find you and actually put in a claim. So I don't know why I was picked specifically. It doesn't really matter. It's all in the past. Nothing bad really happened. But yeah, I just would rather just ask now and just make sure that my bases are covered going forward. Let's see. Pastry Queen's Farm Adventure says, Fallon, I can't wait to make that plaid quilt you super side. I love that thing. I want to make that sometime soon. That is definitely on something I might have to put into my 2024 repertoire, because
if you do, I would love to see photos. I love getting photos. If you're on my Facebook group, you can post them there. If you don't do Facebook, which I completely understand because I didn't for a long time, I just got it back just so I could have a place for my channel for people to share photos of what they're working on. But I'd love to see photos. People email them to me sometimes. So if you don't do Facebook, that I love because I've made two, but I love seeing the patterns and all the different colors and what people come up with and what they decide. Yeah. So fun.
Absolutely. So definitely do that. I will, you'll see it on my podcast when I get around to doing it. But yeah, that's gonna be fun. I might have to do one of the boutiques. I have all these fat quarters I haven't used yet, so that might be a good use for that.
Yeah, that would. The one I did in orange, I just cut like different fat quarters I had, I cut 10-inch squares out of it instead of using a layer cake. And then I did one also with a layer cake. So it's definitely fun either way.
Yeah, no, that sounds fun. I will definitely do that very, very soon. All right, Anita says, I have to think about what I make for sale at a market stall, such as indigenous fabric, but if it's been sold to you at a fair price and it's not the total content, does fair use apply? I am not a lawyer. I am not super familiar with Australian law. I think if you're using indigenous fabric, I think you're okay. It's more the licensed fabric, like Disney, like in movies and that sort of thing there. I think if it's like your Aboriginal indigenous fabric there in Australia, I can't promise you anything because, again, I'm not a legal expert, disclaimer. I really don't see you having any issues. I would be very, very surprised. Yeah, it's more the stuff like if it's copyrighted, like, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Harry Potter, sports teams, Marvel superheroes, that sort of thing there. But yeah, I think for what you're saying, you'll be fine. If someone wants to argue with you over that, fight them. So there you go. Yeah, don't let me scare you. It's definitely more for your licensed stuff that big companies have copyrights on. So yeah, you'll be fine. Unofficially. All right. So good morning, Kathleen. It's good to see you here today. She said, I'm very curious to see what you're posting tomorrow. Yeah, definitely come back at 10 tomorrow morning because it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for everybody to see it. It's been something we've been working on now for a few months, and I'm really, really excited that you guys actually get to see it. We recorded, I will share just a little snippet for you. We recorded we did a thing together and we recorded. It's going to be part of my video tomorrow. And if I look like crap, it's because I felt terrible that day. Like I had a wicked cold, and I was editing the video this morning and I was like, oh, good gravy, I look horrible. So ignore me in that video, to like the section that we're doing together. Ignore me. Look at the other people because they're going to look a lot better than I did.
That's always the worst, when like you're recording something and you don't notice while recording, and then you're editing it and you're like, what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, we got together and we set up a date and we got there, and I was like, I'm just not, I'm not feeling great. And everyone offered, you want to re-record this? I'm like, no, let's just do it, because trying to get a good number of us together and get. Sorry?
It's just real life. That's how
it is. And that's how I am. Like, you see me pull out Jack all the time. I make mistakes. I pull Jack out. I rip it out. I put it in my videos all the time. I'm not scared to show it. You get the real Sean here. There's no fake here. All right. Donnell says we need a live with Fallon's husband on direction. LOL. So, I just think, if it's someone else's stuff that they own, like if it's a copyright thing, just go ask first. If it's a patent, if it's licensed fabric, be very careful. And if not, then I think you're okay.
We've actually thought about doing that because there's a lot of question out there about what you can use from patterns, right? Like, can you make a pattern and sell the product you make from the pattern? Are you allowed to do that? And so we've actually thought about doing a video like that, just talking about some of those common questions people have in the craft world, like legal wise. I just don't know how interesting it would be.
I think you'd actually get a good reception from it, because I've had people ask me in the past, like, I know, like, let's say for instance, this like for this one here that I'm doing with Art East, it says here on the back of the pattern here, it says no part of the pattern, images or text may be reproduced. Let me go back a sec. Items from this pattern are intended for personal use only and are not intended for resale. So this one specifically says on the back that, you can't sell it. Yeah. Like the items that you make. So always check the small print on your pattern first. That's your first clue. And then after that, if you're unsure, shoot the pattern writer a message and say, hey, look, I want to I'm thinking about making this for sale. Is that okay, or is that against the copyright laws? And they should come back to you and say, hey, go for it, or no, this is for personal use only.
Well, and there's bag makers, the patterns, some of them
Yeah.
say that you can sell the bag, but not like on a mass level. And it's like, well, what exactly does that mean? Because
Yeah.
some people do them in markets, is selling 20 of them. Would that be considered a mass amount? So I don't know. It's I think it can get really confusing because you're investing a lot of time and money if you're planning to make something like that and do a market. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big proponent of just go ask, and then that way you have it in, yeah, because like anything legal, it's only as good as the paper it's written on. So if you email them and you have something back as an email, it should be fairly watertight. Right, so Pastry Queen says, wow, I never thought about some of these questions. Glad you're bringing these up. Yeah, you never know what we're going to talk about here on our lives. Like what was it? A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about what Coca-Cola tasted like in different parts of the world. I forget what Becca and I were talking about last week. Yeah, we just keep it real here. So, all right. So Anita says the items related to the pattern or the actual pattern. Well, for the one I was just talking about, this here, I believe it's the items that you make with it.
yes.
Yeah, it says items from the pattern are intended for personal use, not for. So yeah, you can't make this pattern like this quilt and then sell the quilt. Some of them don't care, some of them you can. Yeah, just check the small print. There's a good chance you won't get caught, but if you do, you don't want to deal with that legal mess because lawyers are expensive, right?
They are.
Yeah. Just yep, just ask. All right, so it's almost 9:30 Eastern, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up because Fallon graciously agreed to come on live with me very last minute. I contacted her about 8 o'clock last night and said, hey, do you want to come live with me this morning? She said, I can stay for an hour and a half, and that hour and a half is just about up. So I know she has stuff to do today. I have a bunch of stuff to get done today. So we'll go ahead and, yeah, wrap things up in just a few moments. Kathleen says, mass marketing in my mind is buying a bag pattern and seeking that design to say target nationwide, but it's interpretation. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 20, I don't know. I think mass is usually like in the hundreds or thousands, but again, it's in the mind of the person that has the copyright. So again, not a legal representative. I don't have any law training, but yeah, go ask first and then you should be okay. So there you go. Heather says technically the patent author cannot dictate what you do with the finished product. Just saying. I don't know.
It is true. That's what my husband has said to me. But I'm also like one of those people who is like, I just don't want to deal with it. So.
Yeah, do you really want to be dragged into a courtroom on the other side of the country, having to pay legally? Because sometimes it's about who has the bigger budget or the bigger lawyers. So yeah, do what you want.
I would technically be fine. He would take care of all that for me.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're fine, but yeah, I don't have the budget to go fight legal battles, and the idea of sitting in the courtroom for days on end is not my idea of fun. So, yeah, you can do what you like. If you want to, take your chances, go for it. But yeah, I'm just going to go ask first and just cover my bases. It's just how I am. Good morning, Griffith. It's good to see you here. We are wrapping things up in just a few moments, but it's good that you're able to join us just for a little while. Fallon, what do you have coming up on your channel that you'd like to share with your viewers?
So because I've been out of kind of working on stuff, I have one video planned that is a memory quilt that I designed. So that's going to be coming up. It might be a little bit, me and my husband have still been working on the video where we go on where we bought a bunch of different fabrics and are going to compare the quality of them. Like we bought fabric from Walmart, Joann's, all that kind of stuff, and then quilt shops. So we're going to compare that. But right now up on my channel is the plaid quilt that I designed and put a tutorial up of. And there's also a free PDF. So that's kind of what I have going on right now.
Awesome. And then I'm going to throw Fallon's link into the chat, and that's also in the description. So that way, if you haven't checked out Fallon's channel and you're not subscribed, definitely go over and check it out. It's a lot of fun. She's one of my favorite channels, and I always love having her on as a guest. And I'm just so gracious.
Because you helped me get out of being afraid of going live. So,
well, good.
Well, yeah, I think your channel was the first one that I ever went live on. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think, a lot of my guests are that way. You know, I'm always looking for new guests. I'm always looking for new channels for people to look for. And I hear that a lot. Like a lot of folks say, hey, I've never been on live before. I'm like, just come on. You know, we're very low key. We're very casual. We'll just sit there and have a chat. And, you know, it'll be fine. And it's a good way for people to get their feet wet. So, yeah, it's really neat. But Jay, you guys do great on your lives, and I've always enjoyed watching them when I can. And yeah, but yeah, I love having you on because you were like one of the first YouTubers I watched quilting wise. So it's kind of like having one of my, idols, heroes, whatever you want to call it. You're the reason I do puzzle mystery quilts. You know, you kept talking about the puzzle mystery quilts, and I was like, what is she talking about? And I looked it up, and I went, I missed the sign up for that particular one, which I think was Olympia. So I signed up for So Sweet, and I've been doing it ever since. Donnell says her first live was handmade by Yingwood. Donna, yeah, Donna, she's very much like me. She goes out and finds people as well to interview. Katie with Greenland Quilts is the same way. She's finding people to interview as well. And then Stephen does a lot of interviews with different YouTube creators as well. He found me fairly early on and invited me on as well. So, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I love having someone to talk to during my live. I don't know how folks do it by themselves. You know, like it's a special talent. I could do it if I have to, but I'd rather just have a friend to come join me as well. So as for me, I do a lot of talking on these things. You can always cut me off if you want. It's okay. Tomorrow morning, I will have my podcast at 9 a.m. Eastern as usual, but then at 10 o'clock, we are going to have a second video come out, which is going to be a fun new collab. I've gave a couple little teasers. I'm not giving anything else out of the way because I'm really not supposed to, but it's something you want to watch and watch soon because it's going to be very interactive and we need your input as to what to do with this. So make sure you watch it, and that way you guys will have your input and say as to how it proceeds as well. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It was a lot of fun. If you're watching the replay, definitely just drop something in the comments and say hi. Let us know what temperature or what the weather's like in your city, because we're very curious about that today. That's going to be today's question of the day. And you'll see me tomorrow twice. Actually, no, you'll see me 3 times because that's the other thing I was going to announce. Last year I did Vlogmas. Are you doing anything for Vlogmas this year?
I think I'm just going to be doing, well, this would actually be a good question to ask if anybody wants me to do more than one box again, because I think I was just planning to do the Missouri Star Quilt Company box. So if there's any people saw that they want me to unbox because they want to know what's in it before they pay for it, which I completely understand, I would be happy to check it out and see if I should do that as well. But I think right now it's just the Jenny's Countdown to Christmas box that I have planned for Christmas.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed watching that the last couple of years because it's a fun box. It's not for me. It's not something that I would enjoy, and I'm glad that I got to watch you unbox it. I think I watched you and Chris from Sew to Distance unbox it, but like last year and this year, it was fun watching both of you do it. But it's not for me. It's not something that I would find value in because I like a more fabric centric box. But everyone.
Are you going to do the fabric one again for cotton cuts?
I don't know. I haven't used most of the fabric in that yet. So I do have something planned for December, but I don't want to release what that is yet. But I'm not doing Vlogmas this year. I found it was very hectic last year, especially with, doing it daily and with the holidays and we're going out to do all this stuff. And I fell short. So what I decided to do instead is Vlogtober, which is basically the same thing, but in October. And it's going to be, because there's no holidays. I think I've got a better chance of succeeding. And I have a theme set up for that, which you guys get to see tomorrow. So I'll post that video sometime in the evening tomorrow. and then every day in October. So you're going to get to see a lot of me, but those videos are going to be real short. They're going to be like maybe 2 or 3 minutes a piece. So it's not like you have to sit there and watch like an hour of me every day, which I don't know if anyone really wants to do that. So, but yeah, we'll have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, lots of stuff coming up on my channel. Go check out Fallon's and see all the fun stuff she has going on, and go check out some of the stuff she's been doing recently, because she has a lot of fun patterns and sew-alongs and that sort of thing there that you may have missed, which I have to go do as well, because I see the thumbnails and I watch them when I can, but I don't always get to them, and then I get distracted. So there you go.
I understand.
Yeah, I think we all do. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. It was fun having each and every one of you here. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. If you're watching the replay, definitely leave me a comment so I know you're here. And I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Happy sewing. Bye.
Bye.
No, hang on. Look, that's the wrong computer.